Greetings and welcome to the energy of Libra. The seventh house is open. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. Today we shall be conducting a reading known as the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order in order to see specific karmas that may exist between the energy of Libra, the seventh house, and a significant other. Okay, the significant other is either a person, place, or a thing, something with affiliation or significance to your significant other, your other self. We'll go ahead and begin now. There is a place of stillness for the time being. This is allowing you to bring forth visions, a way to see and create things that will create essentially a great deal of inspiration and realism. Okay, this comes from a place of centeredness, self-centeredness, as well as empowerment through that. Now, self-centeredness takes very negative rap these days, but I think it's important to have a great deal of selfishness, especially upon the solar return, which is current for Libras out there, at least Sun Libras. But this reading in particular is for any Libra placements, anything that has to do with the energy of also Venus and the seventh house, okay, or seven houses away from any Libra placements. Currently, Venus is gracing you with a great deal of beauty that is, it takes the shape of, yes, physical manifestation, but also the type of beauty that is within subtlety, within the grace or the auric field. In the past, there's something, generally speaking, that was to be learned from, something unknown, a variable. And from this learning, there is a stillness. In the near future, nostalgia is going to hit, unfortunately. What is this nostalgia going to tell us about? Let's see. Yes, so there's a movement from the Jack to the King of Swords. So wisdom, when it applies to the past, will be fortifying your reality, your current and present sort of stillness, a very healthy position to have. And this will be elevated also to the Queen of Pentacles, from the Knight of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen shifts also from the rod sequence, the fire element, to earth. Okay. This will allow you to essentially get through a process of thought, much thought, but this thought is maturing. It's giving a sense of status, and you will have to face something from the past that was very meaningful. A lot of this looking back in order to find stabilization, okay, and find detachment in the stabilization. So thoughts around a feeling, thoughts around something from the past will be very much intensified And from the thought making, the thought processes that Libra will be going through, there will be a lot of healthy sort of stabilization. Venus, lots of Venus and earthy Venus, so Taurian qualities will be brought about. Okay, interesting. Force majeure came out in the reverse. The devil is in the details. So we're moving over to the mirror now. 9 cards spread. Okay. Grossesse and ennui. So, something is being thought about. Very deep inclinations towards feelings, okay? 2 of Cups in reverse, 4 of Cups in the upright as well. The Ace of Swords in reverse, okay? Now, this Ace of Swords in reverse is very interesting. There's a type of devotion, fanaticism, about what exactly? About something that needs to be communicated, okay? What is this thing? Let's see. Okay, we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, the South Node activated. 7s here of 0 and 8, and déploiement, folie, déploiement. 7th house is activated in this, and it's a very deep root towards the beginning that led to something not being said about the route that was taken, the path of the Fool that was taken. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is laziness on the path of the Fool and detachment that emerges out of it. Detachment. Okay. So whomever this Fool is, there are thoughts that have to do with the South Node. Then the South Node has to do with anything that we naturally fall or acclimate to. It has to do with the past karmas as well. With the 8 of Pentacles here, it usually speaks of responsibility, that the Fool is not taking the responsibility to tell you something. Okay? And this is leading to ennui. This is your side. Something of the lesson of Saturn and the Hierophant. Okay, we had the Queen of Rods show up earlier. We have here Domestique, the 6 of Rods, which has to do with ritual or rite of passage. And Shaw Green here with the 2 of Rods. Lots of rod sequences here. This is the person you're dealing with, person, place, or thing. They're going through some sort of sequence of judgment. There's a need to be devoted to the self. It seems that all light has fallen out of... it seems like they feel like they have no guide. Their goal is prosperity, and there's something that both of you are trying to sequence or find within each other. There's something about the Ace of Rods in the reverse here. A difficulty to acknowledge that this type of connection should lead to somewhere. The Fool that showed up earlier, there's something about his folly. Something about his staff. It's a very interesting Fool because it has where this Fool has a staff, but it's on the back, in a sort of what do you call that? A fanny pack or a traveling pack. Um, there's also a secondary rod there that's cloaked in and veiled in the shadow, if you can see. Left hand is in the shadow. Very cool left hand, very subtle, with an arced stave there. So that's more of a magician or a magical property of this type of Fool. Fool is always the energy of fire, the energy of Aries, your seventh house. Very strongly significant here. With the rod in the reverse here, from the 2 and the 3, 3 of rods in reverse, creating the ace of rods in reverse, there's something about this type of connection that leads to a culmination point. As you can see here, both of these symbols, 2 nails point to one direction, and this direction is very challenging, with the mountain being there. There also is two two nails being horizontally sort of struck out by a third nail. Okay, so this 3 of rods is very difficult, especially in the reverse. It talks about Jupiter, the need to expand, but then being limited by Saturn. Okay, so there's an impatience on this end. There is a clarity on this end to find what exactly. There's a lot of tension in this type of connection. Um, but I think you have scaled to the point of the king of rods in this situation. There's something about you that has become mature, very much affirmative in your thoughts, your beliefs, as well as your passions, and they lead you elsewhere. They lead you elsewhere. This gives you a sense of taking the fire and moving it to somewhere else, taking that rod, moving it to somewhere else, becoming an inspiration for another. So I think you have an admirer here, an admirer that doesn't have the patience, but is extremely exacting in thoughts, okay, extremely exacting in self-judgments or judgments upon another. Um, and perhaps this has turned you off in some sort of way. There's something here also about learning from this. Um, this is a very there's a lot of fire in this connection. Here we have the 6 of rods, we have the 4 of rods here, leaving the 2 of rods. So I think you are moving with grace. If this is a passionate connection indeed, or it has been in the past, it's burnt out, and you are essentially going to light the torch or light the fire elsewhere. Um, I, I would like to know why. Lots of criticism, lots of critique in this. And Jupiter finally makes its presence here with the 2 of Cups being converted alchemically into something else. Okay. The awareness of the sun around the crown chakra of this archangel. Okay. Um, so with temperance, there's an ability to temper the fool's journey. Okay, the fool's journey is usually le folie de alchimie, which is the foolishness of change, or the foolishness of the practice of alchemy, um, because it requires Saturnian limitation. It's very hard, the path of alchemy. But if you are graced by either Saturn or Jupiter, then you are given the keys to transmutation, to finding the philosopher's stone. Okay, and there's something about this type of connection that requires things to really slow down and things to really sort of grow over time. The problem is that a lot of this requires a lot of emotional either manipulation or distance in terms of emotional content in order to make good the connection. With 10 here, it's all about the external world, the 10 being in the temperance card. So not only is Jupiter sort of watching over this connection, it's also Saturn. Like I said, there's something about Saturn in Sagittarius or Jupiter in Capricorn that works really deeply on this type of connection. Okay, and those placements aren't easy. I mean, if you try to restrict the expansiveness of Jupiter, you get resistance. If you try to expand the rings of Saturn, you get resistance. Okay, so there's a lot of binding hinted at here. Lots of magic, especially with the realm of fire or the element of fire taking and consuming the land. Okay, what I see here is specifically the choice. Okay, of two fires meeting together. Okay, now when this happens in an alchemical or just in a natural way, according to positive law or the laws of nature, that kind of meeting usually it creates nullification. It creates a cancellation. Often firefighters will combat a fire with a fire of lesser degree, so that they collide. At the collision point, the fire burns itself out. Okay. Um, this is not always the case, though. There are many different types of the elements of fire. Also, chemical fire, which is resides primarily in the stomach, can be used to either neutralize or further instigate combustion using the acidic flame within digestive system. But what I'm seeing here is um, the veil of Neptune, discouraging, discouraging them, but also you in a way. You have been taught by the realm of fire in this type of connection in a primalistic way, in a tribal way, to use that invention, that mother of invention, the first invention of man, fire, to essentially let it do its magic. And because of such, there's also a fear of water. There's a fear of emotional content, this type of connection. So a lot of critique emerges out of this on a conscious level. Both of you are very critical, perhaps very closed off when it comes to reaching out or making some form of communication. Not to say that's not going to happen. It's just that if it does, it would either come out of a place of psychosis or psychological block making. Okay, there's a difficulty in this, and there also is a difficulty in Gaston Blanc, the Page of Cups here, when trying to offer of some form of retort. But I see that you are going to make the right choice. Um, you always have made the right choice, and with this, there's an initiation that this connection represents that has to do with walking the path and and completely sort of moving away from it after the experience is learned. And it comes in a flash. It comes in a flash. This kind of alchemy with another person, this person in particular, it comes in a flash. There's something about them also that wants to bring forth something, but they cannot. They cannot. They are concerned mostly with, both of you are concerned with prosperity and making a choice to become prosperous in some sort of way, a master of your own domain on one side, and them, it's more of they're willing to also, much like you, inspire others. Okay, so very interesting, very neutral reading, in my opinion. There's a lot of drive here that it ties to the energy of making action just for the sake of it, without having a type of cause. Okay, this is somewhat disturbing for the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, who comes from a place of love. Okay, the Taurus energy that we spoke of earlier, the Venusian grace that the Queen of Pentacles embodies. Okay, She does things because she is fertile. And that comes from the Two of Cups energy. But the Queen is not happy, unfortunately, with this kind of action or action making, empty actions. So you have to be careful. There's a lot of triggering going on in this type of connection. You may also um, have learned a lot from it, but you can't really totally express it in clarity. But it'll come in time. And there also is something that needs to be realized here is that there is a major block, a critical block that is critical on the self, of their self, of themself, as well as yourself, but also of others. And it's from this place of criticism that righteous communication cannot be made. If anything were to be made, it would be offers of some sort of subtlety, subtle offers of emotional empathy. Okay, and that's the only way this type of connection would trigger in the right way. Okay, so lastly, there is an ending here, an ending of a way of doing things, an ending of a way of constriction. Yeah, and it requires a great deal of sacrifice. This is more pending on their side than yours. I think you've surrendered to the fact that you've gone through as much or as many thoughts as you could or could have gone, and any further doing this would be excuse me, would be forceful. It would be forceful, and that's not something that you would want to do. There's also something that they are doing or not doing that has to do with their own realities. Somewhat impatient character you're dealing with here. Advice? So many kings have come up. Okay. Yeah, this type of connection, it resembles something of life that comes after death, um, equilibrium or balance that comes out of death and regeneration. Um, but usually involves a type of sacrifice, a way of seeing or doing things from an emotionally responsible evolution, type of an emotional intelligence. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. There is still some fire in this connection, though. I don't doubt it, whatever it is. Okay. Hopefully that's helped. Hopefully it's proven somewhat entertaining. Happy birthday to all you lovely solar Librans out there. I hope you're doing well and do bask in the sun of the self and the self of the sun. And take care now. Bye bye.